Welcome to our virtual classroom. Join me for some fun learning. Welcome to Legacy Lineage Online Learning. I'm your host for Storytime, Miss Nicole, and I'm still dressed for what? Winter, that's right. In our last two stories, The Mitten and The Mystery of the Red Mitten, I was all talking about how it is winter and it's all cold outside. And in the winter, we have to wear our hats and our scarves and our coats because the weather is cold and we get lots of snow. So today I'm going to stick to reading winter stories and I will be reading The Snowy Day. All right, and out of the music box today, I picked some. What does that sound like? Is that a familiar sound from a holiday that just passed? That's right, that is the familiar songs of sleigh bells. So when I sing the storytime song, I'm going to be ringing sleigh bells today. Here we go. I am reading, look at me. Time to put the toys away and listen to what I say. 1, 2, 3, eyes on me. This is the front of the book, this is the back of the book, this is the spine, this is the spine, this is the front of the book, this is the back of the book, and this is the spine, this is the spine. All right, I'll put the sleigh bells away, and I will tell you that the front of the book tells you the name of the story. And as you can see on the front of this story, the name is in big letters. The Snowy Day. And it tells you the author of the story, Ezra Jack Keats. And I believe Ezra Jack Keats is the illustrator. Let me read inside and see, because it will also tell you information about the author and the illustrator. Let's see. In the back it says that it is by Ezra Jack Keats. And so I believe the pictures are by Ezra Jack Keats as well. Sometimes the author and the illustrator is just one person. So the author, he writes the words, but then the illustrator comes along and draws the picture. And sometimes one person does two jobs. All right, so this is the snowy day, and I'm all dressed for winter weather. And look at, he's all dressed for winter weather too. Has his hat on, right? And it looks like some type of snowsuit, and he's making what in the snow? I don't want to give it away. Let's read the story. But I will tell you, you can also see this in a cartoon if you have Amazon Prime, okay? So that's something that you need to talk to an adult, a trusted adult, a loved one, a caregiver, and ask them, do we have Amazon Prime? Because Miss Nicole said we can watch The Snowy Day. So right now, let's enjoy the story, The Snowy Day. And here he is walking. See him walking in the snow. Lots of snow. He's surrounded by lots of snow. And what are these? That's right, snowflakes. It's snowing. Do you get snow where you live at? Do you like the snow? Do you like to play in the snow if you do get snow? If you don't get snow, would you like to see snow or be able to experience snow? Look, he's sliding down the snowy mountain. You can do fun things in the snow. There are different sports that you play. They call them winter sports. So there are different sports and things that you do in the winter. They're different than the things that you do and play in the summer. Just like the clothes are different, right? One morning, Peter woke up and looked out the window. Snow had fallen during the night. It covered everything as far as he could see. After breakfast, he put on his snowsuit and ran outside. The snow was piled up very high along the street to make a path for walking. Crunch, crunch, crunch. His feet sank into the snow. He walked with his toes pointing out like this, and he walked with his toes pointing in like that. So when they're pointing out, we're going to use our hands. They were out like this. And when he was walking with his toes pointed in, they were in like that. Then he dragged his feet slowly to make tracks, and he found something sticking out of the snow that made a new track. So these are his tracks. He's dragging them along. Drag, 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 drag. Oh, he found something right here. Now we see the dragging of his 2 feet and whatever it is he found sticking out of the snow. It was a stick that was just right for smacking snow-covered trees. So he's knocking the snow off with the stick that he found. Down fell the snow, plop, right on top of Peter's head. Good thing he has his hat on, or he would have a really cold head right now. 'Cause snow feels cold and winter is cold. He thought it would be fun to join the big boys in their snowball fight, but he wasn't old enough. Not just yet. And what happened to Peter? What happened? Pow! Snowball got him. It was going so fast it knocked him down. They look like they're having fun. So he made a smiling snowman, and our smiling snowman is back. And he made snow angels. And in our other story time, The Mystery of the Red Mitten, we talked about how to make snow angels, and we also sang the snowman chant. We're going to sing it again at the end of this story. So he made a smiling snowman and snow angels. He pretended he was a mountain climber, and he climbed up a great big tall heaping mountain of snow, and he slid all the way down. He picked up a handful of snow and another and still another. He packed it round and firm and put the snowball in his pocket for tomorrow. Then he went into his warm house. He had cold snow and he went into the warm house. What do you think is going to happen to the cold snow in the warm house? His mother told his mother all about his adventures while he took off his wet socks. So now he's saying, yeah, and I found a stick, and I walked with my feet pointing out, and then my feet was pointing in, and I found a stick, and I dragged it, and then I hit the stick. Oh, and then I got hit by that snowball. I made a snowman now and a snow angel. He's recalling all the things he did. And he thought, and he thought, and he thought about them. So he is enjoying his bath, his warm bath, and thinking about his fun day he had. His fun, snowy day. Before he got into bed, Peter looked in his pocket. His pocket was empty. The snowball wasn't there. Why? Because he brought the cold snowball into the warm house and it melted. He felt very sad. And you can do an experiment and see how snow melts in warm. If you ask an adult, a loved one, a sister or a brother, if they can help you, a cousin, abuela, tío, titi, somebody to help you. You can get an ice cube, or you can make an ice cube, or if you have a popsicle in your freezer. I know popsicles are good. You want to eat most of it, but then save a little piece of your popsicle and then put it in the sink And then turn on the warm, not hot. Hot can burn you. Turn on the warm water, and what's going to happen? It's going to melt. Just like Peter Snowball did. He was a little sad because he thought he was going to have it. Let's see, what could he have done so that his snowball wouldn't melt? How could he save it? How could he preserve it? Preserve means to keep it, to save it. How could he have preserved his snowball? Let's problem solve. Let's think about that like we did in the mystery of the red mitten. We were figuring out where her mitten could be. So let's figure out, what could Peter have? Aha! He could have put it in the freezer. That's right. And then he would have had it for later. And then he could have melted it, just like we said, with some warm water all by himself. Or he could have brought it back outside and played with it some more. While he slept, he dreamt that the sun had melted all the snow away. His dream was kind of like what happened to his snowball. But when he woke up, his dream was gone. The snow was still everywhere and new snow was falling. How do you think that made him feel? Look at him in the picture. Huh? Yes, he's very happy. After breakfast, he called to his friend from across the hall, and they went out together into the deep, deep snow. The end of the snowy day. All right, do you remember our chant from the other story time? If you don't, you can go back and enjoy the mystery of the red mitten, because we took our snowman. Let's see if I can get him to join us again. We got our snowman, and remember we figured out how to put him all together. We took his hat off, and his head, and his scarf, and one part of him, 2 parts of him, 3 parts of him, 4 and no more. So he's kind of all gone and melted like Peter's snowball, right? All right. Now let's put him back together again. Remember, we had to figure it out. You use your thinking when you're figuring it out. And so this is the bottom because it needs to be round, because a snowman's body is round. So we need to make these shapes fit round. And there's his first button. So let's see. Okay, now move this around so his buttons line up. Okay, let's find what's next. This is telling me that it's the little frayed part of his scarf. So the scarf part comes next. Great job. There we go. Now we need the red part of his scarf. And his head with his carrot nose and his top hat. He has on his hat and his scarf for cold weather, just like I do, and I even have on my jacket. All right, so while we sing about him, I'm going to move him up a little closer. Okay, there you go. There's a little snowman that we just built. Oh, he's trying to fall. Bring him a little closer. All righty, so let's sing about him. Do you remember from the previous story? If you don't, it's okay. And our chant goes, a funny little snowman had a carrot nose. Along came a bunny, and what do you suppose? That bunny was very hungry, and he was looking for some lunch. He ate that snowman's nose with a crunch, crunch, crunch. Because what kind of nose does a snowman have? A carrot. All right, let's say it one more time quickly before story time ends. Here we go. A funny little snowman had a carrot nose. Along came a bunny, and what do you suppose? That bunny was very hungry, and he was looking for some lunch. He ate that snowman's nose with a crunch, crunch, crunch. Thank you for joining me. See you next time. And remember, you are the you in unique.